Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to do so. It really means the world to me. So in today's video, I want to talk about my experience of trying to make a purchase from the second drop or the second chapter of Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collaboration, so the Cherry Blossoms. I mentioned this collaboration a couple of times on my channel, and I'm sure if you watch this type of content, you're also really quite familiar with this 20th anniversary Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collaboration. I mentioned that it is going to be dropping online on March 14th worldwide. So as I'm filming this today, March 14th was actually yesterday, and I was basically glued to my screen for a big portion of the day, at least for me, trying to secure an item from this collaboration. So in today's video, I'm going to share my experience with you, and at the end of the video, I'm also going to derive just a couple of lessons and things that I'm going to keep in mind for the summertime when we are expecting the release of the third drop or chapter 3 of this collaboration. So without further ado, let's get started. And by the way, my name is Lisa, and I'm your guide to savvy luxury shopping no matter where in the world you are. Subscribe to my channel to learn more about strategic luxury shopping with the emphasis on quality and timelessness of your items. All right, full disclosure. Right now, I'm not based in the United States or in the European Union, so I have to be really creative about how I shop online. And what I tend to do is that I have forwarding shipping addresses in a couple of European countries and also in the United States. So for the forwarding shipping address in the United States, I use the service provided by Shipito. I will include their website information in the description box down below. But this video is not sponsored by them or anything like this. I'm just sharing my experience. And I have previously used my address from Shipito in the United States to actually get my packages, get my shopping in the United States, and then subsequently ship it to the country where I am located. So I was hoping that I would be able to do the same exact thing with this collaboration drop. So yes, I thought that my best bet was to shop on the United States website for Louis Vuitton. But again, because I really didn't have an item that I was particularly interested in from this drop of the collaboration, I wasn't really in a hurry. So I got online, let me tell you, at about 8:20 o'clock in the morning, New York time. And at that stage, I saw that the items have already dropped. They were already available, or it looked like they were available on the website. So I just clicked on a silk scarf, like a twilly. But instead of actually seeing the item itself, I was then taken to this page. And I'm going to display this page on my screen right here. And of course, if you actually shopped online for this collaboration yourself, you know what this page says, but I'm still going to read it to you. So it said, "Welcome to the Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collection. Due to the high interest for this release, you're being placed in a waiting room. Your browser will automatically refresh regularly. A manual refresh will not accelerate your access. By entering this waiting room, you accept our specific sales terms. First come, first served cannot be guaranteed. Admittance to view the collection is on a random basis and will end once products are sold out. If granted access to view the collection, you will have 10 minutes to choose and place the products in your card. Please note, once in the card, the products will not be reserved until the payment step is completed. We will acknowledge receipt of your order request by email after the payment step is completed. However, this email does not constitute final acceptance of your order. Your order will be accepted if, after order review, you receive a shipping confirmation email." All right, so at about 8:20 a.m. New York time, I was sitting there and looking at this screen refreshing every minute. And I spent about 10 minutes doing that, and I didn't get anywhere from this screen at all. And because I actually had other things to do, I decided, okay, whatever, I'm just going to get back to this whenever I have a bit more time. Now, obviously, I realized exactly what I was risking, and I knew that by coming back later to the website, I might not actually get a choice of products. But in any case, I did come back to the United States website later on in the day, just a couple of hours later, at about 10:45 a.m. New York time. And kind of the same thing, I clicked on a Twilly, so one of the cheapest items available, and I was taken to this screen once again that just kind of kept refreshing every 60 seconds. But this time around, I had a bit more time, and I'm not exactly sure, but I think in about 7 or 8, probably 10 minutes or less, I was actually given access to the actual products on the website. And just imagine my astonishment, because in all honesty, I didn't think I would be able to get in like any time in the future, just because I thought that everybody was trying to shop this collection and this collaboration. So when I got access to the products on the website, that Twilly that I was looking at was actually sold out. So to be honest, I was kind of a little bit confused because I couldn't understand why is it that I am given access to the product, but the product is actually not available. Okay, so I went back to the entire kind of compilation or list of products from this second drop of the collaboration. And to be honest, I was not really prepared. I didn't know what I was looking for. And my husband reminded me that I only have 10 minutes to complete the entire process. And this is really, honestly, this is nonsense. It just puts so much pressure onto you as a shopper. So I'm going to kind of show you the screen and I'm going to show you what I started doing. But basically, I just started looking at any random items that I could, think were of interest to me. So because I started looking at the Twilly first, I then looked at a silk scarf. It was not available. I started looking for bags, because obviously those are the things to buy from this collaboration. So I looked at Speedy 25, not available. I looked at the Bolon bag. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. It was not available. Pochette was not available. The Zippy wallet was not available. Then I started looking at shoes as well, just basically any shoes that kind of looked like something I would be able to wear. So the Sunset Flat mules, and my size was not available. Then I looked at the Nice Mini bag, for your makeup and toiletries, because those are really quite useful, but obviously it was not available. And I just kept going down the list. I looked at the Lily Flat mules, they were not available, or rather, my size was not available. Neo BB was not available. Neo 6 a.m. mule was not available. Alma BB, which I think was really quite cute in this collaboration, just pink with the flowers, but obviously that Alma BB was not available. And, then I looked at a cosmetic pouch and it was not available. So it was getting really frustrating. And I actually noticed that I was clicking on the same items twice, just because I basically forgot that it was not available. So I would go back, or I would go back to recheck. And then when I actually checked the On the Go PM, so kind of like the main bag that has been sort of featured in the advertisement for this drop of the collaboration, this On the Go PM kind of looked like it was available. So I tried to add it to my shopping bag, but it was just constantly showing that an arrow basically. So it was showing the bag as available, but when I was trying to add it to my shopping bag, it was showing an arrow. So that was also really frustrating. And then once again, I kept looking for items. I kept scrolling through the available items, just kind of thinking that I only have 10 minutes. And then I saw a pair of sneakers, and again, they were not my top choice, but I decided to check them out, and my size 39, was actually available. So I was like, oh my God, that's it. This is what I'm gonna get, because I'm not even sure how much time has passed. So I might as well just get something, right? So I take this sneakers size 39 and I add them to my shopping bag, and I start the checkout process. And long story short, I basically finished my checkout process. I submitted my payment, I paid, and I received an email with the order confirmation. So for a second there, I was actually really quite happy, and I was really quite relieved because I thought, great, I managed to secure something from this drop of the collaboration, and those sneakers did look nice to me, or at least, at the moment, they looked like something I could actually use and I would actually wear. But guess what? Literally the same minute when I got the order confirmation email, I also got an email saying that my order was cancelled. And let me read you exactly what that email said. Thank you for your recent order. Unfortunately, we are unable to fulfill it at this time. We will issue a refund automatically if your account has been charged. Funds may take 3 to 5 days to be reflected depending on your financial institution. And in all honesty, the funds came back into my bank account immediately. Now, to be completely honest, now that I think about it, I'm not sure why my order was cancelled. Maybe it was cancelled because the stock was oversold. So in fact, they actually didn't have those sneakers available in my size. Or maybe the order was cancelled because I was using that shipping forwarding address, which I know that some brands and some online stores do not necessarily accept. However, the email that I got basically said that they are unable to fulfill my order at this time. And all of this happened really quickly. And as you would imagine, I got really upset, right? You get really excited because you think you got something and it feels like it's something special. And then you get just incredibly upset because all of a sudden, that item is just no longer available. So for some time, I was actually doing nothing. And then I remembered, like, wait a second, Lisa, you actually have forwarding addresses in Europe as well. Now, full disclosure, I have those addresses, but I have never actually used them because I didn't really have to. But in this particular case, I decided, okay, well, let's give it a shot. So I got on the French Louis Vuitton website, and I was using it in the French language, which actually was very difficult for me to navigate. I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff is common sense, but I don't really speak French at all. So there were additional complexities included here. Plus, if we think about the time difference, it was already afternoon in Europe, so I felt like I was really late to the game. But it was actually very interesting to compare what was available in the United States online and what was available in France, in Europe online. So I would say that the selection on the French website was much more limited. You had the silk scarves and twillies, you had the handbags, and a couple of small leather goods, but there were no shoes. And I didn't know if it means that all of the shoes have been sold out by the time I got on that website in the afternoon, or maybe the shoes just were never available to begin with. There was also no wait and no kind of lottery to get in on the French website, and it just kind of seemed that more items were actually available. So it looked like the Speedy 25 bag was actually available, and I got really excited for a second, but when I added it to my cart, once again, it was showing me the error message. So it means the item was actually not available, in reality. But there were a couple of bags that were definitely available, and I was able to actually add them to my cart. So the bags were the Boulogne bag. Once again, I'll show it on the screen. I'm sorry about my pronunciation. And then the Papillon, the butterfly bag, was also available. Once again, I'll show it on the screen. So those two bags were available. And for a second there, I thought about buying them. But then I kind of checked in with my reality, and I will say two things. First of all, I don't really like any of those two bags that much. I wanted to get them simply because they were part of this collaboration. And secondly, this address, the forwarding address that I have in France, has actually not been tested. So I didn't really want to spend 2,500 euros or 3,000 euros and actually send something to the forwarding address in France that I never really worked with before. But the silk scarf was available, this pink silk scarf, for 390 euros. And I decided, that's it. This is my chance to get something from this collaboration and to test that delivery address in France. So I purchased the scarf, I added it to my cart, I checked out, I made the payment, and everything seemed to be fine. I received an email with a confirmation of my order in the afternoon, European time, on March 14th. And I thought, great, I beat the system. I am so excited. I managed to get something from this collaboration. But less than 24 hours later, basically the next morning, the morning of March 15th, I got an email in French from Louis Vuitton in France saying that my order was cancelled. And they also provided a phone number in that email saying that I could always reach out to them via WhatsApp or call them. So I took the phone number and actually decided to write them a WhatsApp message just to check why is it that my order was actually canceled. Because again, I was thinking maybe it is the issue of stock, or maybe it is actually the issue with my shipping address. And just before filming this video, I got a WhatsApp response in English, which is great, from the French team or from Louis Vuitton in France, saying that they were not going to ship that item to a non-residential address. So saying that I needed to provide a residential address. So obviously that just kind of put a big damper on kind of this entire idea of mine of using European addresses for shopping online in Europe, at least in places or on websites like Louis Vuitton. But what was also interesting for me is just to see how different the experience and the availability of items was on the two websites. So I personally felt like in the United States, there were many more items available, but they were selling out faster. While in Europe, or at least on the French website, you didn't have that many items available to begin with, but even in the afternoon of March 14th, you still had some silk items and some handbags that were available for purchase. And by the way, at the time of filming this, and of course this might change very quickly, but as far as I can see on the French website, those two bags, the Boulogne bag and the Papillon, the butterfly bag, are actually still available. So maybe you have a different forwarding address, maybe you're based in Europe, there is still an opportunity to buy a bag if you actually like those styles. But it does say that there might be some waiting time before these bags would actually be shipped. But given that I failed completely with my order from France, I actually decided to also check out the Louis Vuitton website in the UK. And I might be wrong, but I honestly feel that that website has like the best stock, because I also started looking at the monogram collection. And it looks like in the UK, when it comes to the monogram collection, there are just so many items that are still available, but there is just kind of a long wait, anywhere from 4 weeks to maybe 4 to 5 months to up to 8 months for those items to be shipped. But it looks like from the multicolor collection on the UK website, you can still get some twillies and some silk scarves. You can actually get also Alma BB, one of the bags that I actually really like from this collaboration. So I basically decided that when it comes to some European websites and this particular collaboration, you actually have more availability than you have in the United States. So the next step on my to-do list, and I'm gonna see if it actually works out for me, is the fact that I actually also have a forwarding address in the UK. So I'm gonna see if I can actually pre-order one of the bags from this collaboration and send it to my forwarding address in the UK. Anyway, that's going to be my next challenge, and I will keep you updated on this channel. But before I conclude this video, I just wanted to share, a couple of things that I feel like I learned through this process. First of all, it is always nice, if you can, to compare stock and availability on different websites across the world. I found my shopping experience on the United States website versus a European website to be quite different. Second is this entire issue with the forwarding addresses. I could probably do a completely separate video about them because I feel like I have been relying on forwarding addresses for a very long time in my shopping career. But it really seems that different boutiques and different brands treat those forwarding addresses differently. So my experience with Louis Vuitton in France has really showed me that my French address, for example, does not work for a brand like Louis Vuitton. The third element here is just my learning from my entire shopping experience. I was so frantic when I got access to these items on the United States website that it felt like I really didn't care what to buy. I just wanted to buy something. And this is definitely not an example of strategic shopping. This is not an example of the type of savvy luxury shopping that I like to talk about on this channel. And in fact, taking a step back, I kind of had a conversation with myself earlier today, and I decided to, really set my record straight. And if I'm completely honest with myself, I really do not care about the silks and the scarves or the shoes and all the small little trinkets from these collaborations. If there is something that I care about, it is perhaps a handbag. And in all honesty, it would be a handbag from the multicolor drop because I personally consider it to be the most iconic. So I feel like instead of just jumping around on all of these websites and just looking for something to buy that is still available, I should perhaps focus my efforts on actually getting something that I like and something that I want. I'm still deciding which style exactly I would prefer from the multicolor collection, and obviously what is available is also a consideration, but there is still stock available from that drop on StockX. The prices are a bit higher, but in my experience, sometimes it actually makes sense to pay just a little bit more money to actually buy something that you would use and value instead of just buying something that might be cheaper, but I would be buying it only because it is available. So again, a big learning for me was that I really need to calm down and actually listen to my own advice and get back to this entire notion of strategic luxury shopping. And by the way, on the 15th of March, I also looked at the United States online store for Louis Vuitton. And once again, you still have that same lottery to get to these items for the second drop of this collection. But now it actually says on the screen, and I'm going to put that message up here, but it says on the screen that most of the collection has been already sold out, but you can actually enter your email or your contact information if you would like to be put on a waiting list for a notification when some of the items might be available again. So I kind of wanted to mention this at the end of the video. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching this long, chatty video. I will definitely keep you updated. And please share your experience in the comments down below as well. And also let me know if you actually managed to get something from this second drop of the Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collaboration. And let me know, did you actually get exactly what you wanted? But for now, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and bye-bye.